Today's sync sound is a drink stir in 3, 2, 1.
Nice.
Yes, thank you for the assist on that. Sort of holding the microphone.
I'm glad you got the margarita on the rocks.
Yes, that was a good call. All right, welcome to That Just Might Work, the podcast about everyday items. Jesse, how are you doing today?
I couldn't be doing much better.
This is pretty nice.
Yeah, we should take vacations more and record on the beach.
This should be a podcast that we only record on the beach under a tiki umbrella.
2 episodes a year.
Yeah, I can't afford to do more than one, I'm afraid. But yeah, that was a margarita. We're on the beach in Punta Cana.
In the Dominican Republic.
That's right. Hoping that the cocktail waitress stops by at some point during the episode.
Yeah, because this single drink is not really going to last.
No, and it's quite warm here.
Yeah, it's humid.
Thankfully, we are in the shade, and that kind of coincides with today's topic.
Right. Avoiding the sun.
That's right. Today's topic is... Actually, what do you call it?
I say Sun Tan Lotion.
Okay. So there's a lot of different names for it. I'll jump into those. I am a Sun Tan Lotion guy.
Okay.
Occasionally a sunscreen guy.
Ooh.
Yeah. Do you have any burns yet? We've been here for, I think, 4 days so far.
Yeah, I've been pretty good, and I don't have any new burns. Unfortunately, I was recovering from a sunburn before I got here. So
that was a good idea to get a sunburn before coming
Yeah, that was a mistake.
The Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
I think the UV index is like 12 every day here.
I don't know on what scale that is, but that sounds high.
It sounds high, yeah. Today's topic is sunscreen. This is the podcast where we're going to talk about the history. We're going to talk about why it sucks, how we can improve it, and play some fun games along the way. Sunscreen, also known as sunblock, suntan lotion, or sun cream, is a lotion, spray, gel, or other tropical product that absorbs or reflects some of the sun's ultraviolet UV radiation and thus helps protect against sunburn. Any disagreements?
No, that's in line with my belief.
I'm realizing this is also the first time we're doing a podcast in a public space.
Yeah, there's a couple people nearby, but I don't think anyone's noticed.
Yeah, we're actually out at the beach pretty early. Well, not really. It's 10:30 in the morning. So,
yeah.
Moving on. Other benefits of sunscreen or suntan lotion. Diligent use of sunscreen can also slow or temporarily prevent the development of wrinkles, moles, and sagging skin.
Yeah, I think people generally don't wear suntan lotion when they're not on vacation, but you probably should.
Some people do. I never do.
Right.
I rarely even wear it. I only wear it if I'm going to the beach specifically.
Right.
And I plan to be in the sun a lot shirtless.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're so aged looking.
Yeah, that explains all the wrinkles over my body. In fact, a 2013 study concluded that the diligent everyday application of sunscreen, can you imagine?
Oh,
I don't have time for that. Can slow or temporarily prevent the development of wrinkles and sagging skin. The study involved 900 white people in Australia and required some of them to apply a broad-spectrum sunscreen every day for 4.5 years.
Oh, God.
And it found that the people that did so had noticeably more resilient and smoother skin than those assigned to continue their usual practices.
You know, it's kind of like we found the cure for aging that everyone's looking for, but we're all like, that's kind of hard, though. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, I'll admit, I've known people that apply sunscreen through the winter, and I've always just thought, like, I don't know, I think I'd rather just be a little wrinkly.
Just worth it.
Right. There is a distinction, I didn't know this, between sunscreen and sunblock.
Oh.
They work on a different premise. Depending on the mode of action, sunscreens can be classified into physical sunscreens, for example, those that reflect the sunlight, or chemical sunscreens, those that absorb the UV light. Sunblock typically refers to opaque sunscreen that is effective at blocking both UVA and UVB rays and uses a heavier carrier oil to resist being washed off. Titanium dioxide and zinc oxide are the active ingredients.
Those are the ones that, like, it doesn't ever like rub in, does it? Do you kind of always have like a white mark where you put it? Or
it sounds like that's what it's referring. Opaque.
Okay, yeah.
So, not into that.
No, I mean, I'm sure it works well, but I think a lot of people, it's like, when they're going to the beach, they're trying to look their best. Mm-hmm. And it's like covering your face in white cream is not really in line with that, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. Moving on. SPF. You know what it stands for?
Sun Protection Force.
Close.
Space Force.
Sunscreens are commonly rated and labeled with a sun protection factor.
That's it.
Yeah. That measures the fraction of sunburn-producing UV rays that can reach the skin. For example, SPF 15 means that 1/15 of the burning radiation reaches the skin through the recommended thickness of the sunscreen.
It's like a fraction.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
No. How much do we need? Is 15 good enough?
1/15. I mean, that's pretty good. I think it's a personal decision how much UV radiation. I'm laughing because the cocktail waitress was going by and she gave us a look like I don't see that very often.
Yeah, we've got big headphones on. We're holding microphones on the beach. So
I do want her to stop over. Next time she walks by, let's call her over.
Okay.
And I guess we should finish our drinks before we order more. But so how much do we need? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I think more is better. I did read that there's some doubt that you might see SPF 70. I think I've seen SPF like 100.
Yep.
There's some doubt as to whether a sunscreen can actually be more effective than SPF 50.
Okay.
And in fact, in some countries, it's regulated so it cannot be marketed as greater than SPF 50.
Okay, so our medical recommendation is you don't need to go any higher than SPF 50.
Yeah, if we're offering a medical recommendation, which we never should do,
right?
That's what we're
Disclaimer.
recommending. Yeah. Other rating systems indicate the degree of protection from non-burning UVA radiation. Sunscreens are designed to remain effective at original strength for up to 3 years and are generally of doubtful value after that period. Some sunscreens include an expiration date, a date which indicates when they are no longer expected to be effective. I didn't know that they expire. I'm pretty sure I've used like several-year-old sunscreen before.
I think I always thought about it because like you pull it out of like some beach bag from multiple years ago, and it's like a different consistency than it once was. But you're like, this should be fine.
It must like separate a little bit.
Yeah.
But what's happening to the active ingredients? Are they dying?
I don't know. Not a chemist.
It's important to note that sunscreens with higher SPF do not last or remain effective on the skin any longer than lower SPF and must be continually reapplied as directed, usually every 2 hours.
Yeah, I think the bottle we were using said 80 minutes.
That's why I got burned on the second day here.
Right.
We played some beach volleyball.
Yep.
And I had applied a lot of sunscreen, but I did not reapply.
No, we played longer than that.
And my shoulders are very burnt.
Yeah.
Let's talk about quantity of sunscreen that you should apply. If one assumes an average adult build height of 5'4" and a weight of 150 pounds with a 32-inch waist, I'm huge. Huh?
I think 5'4" and 150 pounds is a little chunky.
A little stocky.
I think so. But I guess maybe that's the average adult size. A little chunky.
Yeah, it may be. And if that's a little chunky, well, I mean, I've got 10 inches on the average person.
Yeah, I'm also notoriously called a bone noodle. So,
yeah.
So I'm not sure I'm a good opinion.
So a person 5'4", 150 pounds, 32-inch waist. If that's you, and you're wearing a bathing suit that covers the groin area, which are most bathing suits, you should apply approximately 30 grams or 1 ounce of suntan lotion evenly to the uncovered body area.
I still don't know how much that is. I mean, I know how much 30 grams is generally, but like, do I fill my palm?
They said a golf ball size is approximately 1 ounce.
Got it.
Considering only the face, this translates to about a quarter to a third of a teaspoon for the average adult face.
Okay.
I probably have a bigger than average adult
I'd
face.
say so, yeah. You need a tablespoon and a half.
I'm gonna bring a measuring spoon.
Yeah.
The next time we go to the beach. I'm not wearing any sunscreen today. Are you?
Me either. So if the sun keeps moving slowly, we're going to be in trouble here.
Yeah. Let's keep this moving. History. Early civilizations used a variety of products to help protect the skin from sun damage. Jesse, do you want to guess what those products may have been and when they first were used?
I'm wondering if like the aloe vera thing is sort of I don't know if it provides like pre-sun sunburn protection, but I'm going to assume it does, and I'm going to assume that they did that in around like the 1200s.
1200s?
Yeah, in like the Incan and Mayan civilizations.
Okay. We're going to go back to the ancient Greeks, actually. And that is, as you know, Jesse.
Good one. 800 BC.
Oh, damn, that was right.
Did I? I might be learning something on this
800 to 500 BC is referred to as ancient Greece. They use a variety of plant products as well as olive oil for this purpose. Ancient Egyptians used extracts of rice, jasmine, and lupine plants, whose products are still used in skincare today.
Oh, okay.
Early synthetic sunscreens were first used in 1928. That's what we use, synthetic sunscreens. The first major commercial product was brought to the market in 1936, introduced by the founder of L'Oreal.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
There's a apostrophe, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. L'Oreal.
The French chemist, his name was Eugene Schuller.
Okay.
Among widely used modern sunscreens, one of the earliest was produced in 1944 for the U.S. military by Benjamin Green, an airman and later a pharmacist, as the hazards of sun overexposure became apparent to soldiers in the Pacific tropics at the height of World War II. The product, named Red Vet Pet, short for Red Veterinary Petrolatum, had limited effectiveness, working as a physical blocker of ultraviolet radiation. It was a disagreeable red, sticky substance similar to petroleum jelly.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
No, that sounds worse than regular sunscreen.
I have a pretty strong aversion to being sticky, and that just doesn't sound great.
No, you wouldn't like to lather yourself up with like red sticky jelly?
No.
Sales boomed for the product when Coppertone improved and commercialized the substance under the Coppertone Girl and Bain de Soleil branding in the early 1950s. In 1946, the Swiss chemist Franz Gratier introduced what may have been the first effective modern sunscreen. Up until this point, they didn't really do very much.
Yeah.
The product was called Glacier Creme, or Glacier Cream. Subsequently became the basis for the company Pizbuin?
Nope.
Which is still today a marketer of sunscreen products.
Oh, okay.
Who would have thought? And it was named in honor of the mountain where Gratier allegedly received the sunburn that inspired his concoction. In 1974, Gratier adapted earlier calculations from Friedrich Ellinger and Rudolf Schultz and introduced the sun protection factor.
Oh, okay.
SPF, which has become a worldwide standard for measuring the effectiveness of sunscreen. It's been estimated that the Glacier Creme had an SPF of 2.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, half's not bad.
No, not bad. Water-resistant sunscreens were introduced in 1977, and recent developments have focused on overcoming later concerns by making sunscreen protection both longer-lasting and broader spectrum, as well as more appealing to use. That's all I have on the history of sunscreen.
Oh, it's interesting.
It was. So, from there, let's take a little break before we jump into why it sucks. And let's play a game that I want to call Sun Cream Trivia.
Okay.
I hope you were paying attention, because a lot of these questions have to do with things that I just told you.
Okay, we'll see.
I've got 10 here. Let's say you need 6. You keep track for a passing grade. We don't have any music beds or anything to use here in Punta Cana.
No.
So let's just go through here. Up first, Jesse, UVA. What does it stand for?
Ultraviolet A.
That is correct. SPF. What does it stand for?
Sun protection factor.
That is correct. SPF 2 prevents what percentage of burning radiation from reaching the skin?
50%.
That is correct. Red Vet Pet is short for what?
Oh, shit. It was like Redmond Veterinarian Principal.
That is Red Veterinary Petrolatum.
Oh, okay.
That's incorrect. Ancient Greeks used what type of oil to protect from the sun?
They're Greeks, olive oil.
An average weight adult should apply what amount of sunscreen?
30 grams or 1 ounce or a golf ball.
That's correct. How frequently should sunscreen be reapplied on average?
I think 2 hours?
That is correct. How many white people were studied in Australia in 2013?
I've been asked this before. I think it was like 40.
The answer I was looking for was 900. UVB, what does it stand for?
Ultraviolet B?
That is correct. And ancient Greece is referred to as what time period?
The Grecian.
What was the time frame of ancient Greece?
800 to 500 BC.
That is correct. What was your final score? 7.
No, that's 8.
8.
I'm trying to signal 8 to him like I can't say it for some reason.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that might be the best I've ever did.
That definitely may have been. I feel like you may have actually learned something from this episode.
Yeah, that's surprising.
All right, let's move on to the part of the show where we talk about why it sucks. I'm just looking around as nobody's sitting near us because we look strange.
Right.
Why don't you go first? Tell us, what is it that you don't like about the modern sunscreen?
Okay, I'm sure us and the listeners are going to have some similar gripes here. It takes too long to apply, in my opinion. I know the spray cans are faster, but I still feel like there's so much coverage you got to do that it takes a while to really make sure you're thoroughly covered, and I hate that. It feels greasy and weird.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't like that you feel slimy. When you go in the water, you come out, you still feel slimy.
Right.
I'm not a fan. And what we already touched on earlier is that it's ineffective after 80 minutes or 2 hours or whatever. Having to reapply, if you're on a vacation like this, you could be in the sun all day. You might be applying 6 times a day and 5 days a week or whatever. That's a lot.
Yeah, I agree on all those points. I also said that it's cumbersome to apply. There's no convenient method. I think I prefer the application method of the spray, but I've said on this trip I'm a spray sunscreen skeptic. I don't feel as though it's as effective as the cream,
right?
But it is easier to apply everywhere.
Though you also happen to choke people downwind of you with the spray, which I dislike.
I find that I choke myself. Like when you inhale that stuff, it's like mustard gas or something. Yeah. And then I said it doesn't always work very well, probably because I'm not applying it well. It's very easy to miss spots.
Oh, yeah.
You apply it, you went through all this effort, and then you still get third-degree burn on your
elbow or whatever.
Right. And I said that it's harder to apply in hairy places.
That's true.
Which is true. You got to get it underneath the hair,
right,
and such. Though I bet that hair.
I wonder what SPF hair is.
I bet hair prevents some amount of radiation.
Right. I mean, dogs don't need Sun Tan Lotion, do they? What was that veterinarian petroleum jelly? I don't know.
I think I am a dog owner. I think that prolonged exposure to. I mean, they have the fur.
Yeah.
So if you have a long coat dog, yeah, you probably don't need to worry about it. If you have a short coat, or if it's trimmed,
yeah,
like a poodle or something, I'm sure that they could get sunburn.
All right.
I'm positive.
More medical advice.
Yeah. And if you want to write in with any medical questions that pertain to your hairiness or sunscreen application,
the size of your face,
you could send that into feedback at thatjustmyworkpodcast.com.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take our advice, but we'll offer it. So let's go to Jesse with innovative news. What did you find on some modern inventions, ways to improve sunscreen?
Yeah, a couple interesting things here. The first one, something I think you had unfortunately invented earlier today and then found out it already exists.
Yeah, I thought I had a really good idea, and I looked up to see if it worked, and the first Google hit was the product that already exists.
Yeah, that happens a lot. This one, I think there's probably multiple, but this one's called the Sun Screener. with like a little R at the end. And it's a UV camera that shows how well you're doing at protecting your skin with sunscreen. So it's a tiny little pocket-sized camera. You look through the viewfinder, and it shows you if you did a good job actually covering all of your skin. I think that in the camera, like the dark areas are where you did a good job, and when it's lighter, it means it's either wearing away or you didn't put enough there or whatnot. It only costs $100, which is a little pricey, but I thought it was going to be more than that, actually.
If you spend a lot of time in the sun going to tropical places, it seems like not a crazy investment.
Yeah. I'd be interested to try it and see, like, do you really need, like, a thick layer for it to kind of show, or does it actually show, like, I've been out for 30 minutes, can you tell where I'm protected and not?
Right.
But the pictures they showed looked pretty cool, so I don't know. Maybe they'll send us one to try.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Please do that, sunscreener. Okay, the second one, the Ramio. This is cool. It's not exactly a sunscreen or something like that. Neither was the first one. This is a sun protection wearable, and this you wear on your wrist like a bracelet. It looks like a Fitbit, and it tells you when you should be protecting yourself from the sun. So I think it uses weather data to know what the UV index is, and it also has a UV light sensor. So it says, like, hey, you've been in the UV light for 80 minutes, you need to reapply sunscreen. So I think that's kind of cool, because sometimes it's like if you're in the pool or the beach or whatever, you don't know how long it's been and whether or not you need it again.
Yeah, I think that's technology I think it'd be cool to see that implemented into Fitbits and into Apple Watches.
Right. I don't want to have to wear another bracelet.
But your smartwatch already has the weather data and the UV index. Why not put a sensor on it that can sense, like, how long you've been exposed to it?
Fitbit and Apple, you can buy that idea from us for $40 million. Just contact us at feedback. That just only works. Okay.
I would even go as low as $2 million.
Yeah, that's fair. That seems fair.
They'll have a bidding war, perhaps, and
Sure,
it'll go from there.
Right, we're only going to sell it to one of you, so hurry up. Okay, the third one, which I feel like people have heard about. I feel like I heard about it a couple years ago and haven't since. And it's like the sunscreen pill.
Yes, I have heard of it.
Or they also make a sunscreen drink. And I think the active ingredient in all of those is the same. It's polypodium leucotomus or something like that.
Okay.
I don't really know how to say it, but it's like a natural fern, like a plant. And I guess, whatever the active ingredient is, it does a good job of protecting your skin from the damage that the sun creates. So in theory, it protects you a lot from skin damage.
Okay.
The FDA is warning against these and saying that you should never rely solely on these products.
Right.
I think there's like a birthday party happening off to the left here.
Some sort of family gathering. There's a baby, and
yep.
Just continue.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, they're saying you shouldn't just use it alone, because really it does protect you from the UV and it protects your skin from being damaged, but using the sunscreen kind of is like the pre-barrier so that those UV rays don't even, impact your skin.
Okay.
This is sort of like a post-protective measure. And its effectiveness hasn't really been evaluated to the full extent. So risky.
It would seem risky to ingest like active. It's like taking a medication at that point.
Right. It sounds a little weird. They're not allowed to market it as a sunscreen. It has to be like a skin protective something. But yeah, I don't know. They have here that it protects against sun-related effects and aging, DNA protection, and it's anti-inflammatory. So all good things, but if you're going to use it in addition to your sunscreen.
If they could make a version of this product that was also like Pepto-Bismol,
that's a good idea.
Then I would be on board for that, because
just a beach drink.
I found that everything in the Dominican Republic upsets my stomach.
Yeah. You've actually had more Pepto-Bismol than you've had actual food.
I think that's true, yeah.
And that's all I have. I think that one's interesting. We might see more from it in the coming years. But for now, stick with the Sun Tan Lotion.
That's our medical advice?
That's my medical advice. And for the first time, that one's in line with what the FDA says.
All right. This is the point of the show that the show takes its name after. That just might work. We've come up with our own ideas. I think we have a hunch that they might be the same.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it, but it's kind of a good idea. So,
all right. do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right. And the name of my product sort of gives away what it is. It's very to the point, so you'll know right away. I've invented the sun cream application booth.
It sounds pretty similar.
Okay. Yeah. This is very similar in structure to the modern spray tanning booth.
Did you realize that the acronym for your name is SCAB? The sun cream application booth. SCAB.
No, I didn't. But I feel like there might be a way to work that into the marketing.
Yeah, that's good.
It's very similar in structure to the modern spray tan booth, except it evenly applies the appropriate amount of sunscreen to the occupant of the booth. Before entering, you can indicate your height, weight, and whether or not you are a ginger. The application booth then, it does a little like 10% more cream if you're fair-skinned. The application booth then calibrates itself to apply exactly the amount of sunscreen that your body requires.
Okay.
Or in my case, 2 golf balls worth.
Yeah.
These booths will be present at public locations, beaches, swimming pools. I almost spilled my margarita there. Thank you. Those are the places they'll be.
Pools and beaches, vacation spots.
Where they can be operated by cash or credit card, and can be implemented in the home as well, either as a standalone unit or an accessory to the home shower.
Oh, I like that.
The benefit of these machines is even application, proper quantity of application, less burning, less risk of melanoma and other skin cancers. Wrinkles are reduced, and money is saved on product, both for the consumer and for the for a resort like this one. They're actually going to make money.
Right.
I bought a $28 bottle of
so they already
sunscreen
made money, but
on which they made probably $27.50 on me. But they can have like vending machines. And I thought while you were talking earlier about one particular product, I don't know what it was that you said, but it made me think that when you're at a public space, you might use this booth and it puts a wristband on you, and the wristband can alert you when you need to revisit the machine.
Oh, okay. 2
hours later, because if you're still in the sun, stop back in the machine, pay another $2, get a reapplication.
Right, maybe once you already paid for it too, it's like the renewals are cheaper.
Oh yeah, 50% off on your refill.
Yeah, it's your refill. I like it. Your SCAB refill.
That is the SCAB. The sun cream application booth.
I like it.
Patent pending.
Yeah, I think we have basically the same idea. And I think that, again, because it's a good one. I called mine the Sun Wash. And same idea. It's going to be at, on the pool and the beach. You insert money, just like a vending machine, cash. You walk in, close your eyes and mouth. Because mine's going to be kind of like a car wash in that it's a pretty full body spray. Hopefully you're not trying not to breathe also, maybe. I don't know. And it's just going to do a really good job of getting full coverage. You won't even really need to do any rubbing in. And also one of the things I like about it is that we're finding that sunscreen is actually very damaging to the environment. And I think this would contain some of that because it's in like an enclosed booth, right? You're not just spraying it out into the air. It's like you could actually kind of control where it goes.
It can recycle it onto the next person.
Ooh, gross. But yeah, I think that's the idea. I like it a lot. I know your fiance Steph had the idea of the sunscreen bath.
Yeah,
which was a little like a tub full of.
She was, and I give her credit for the idea. It's kind of along the same vein of our ideas. She was convinced that it was the solution, and I just wasn't sure about, where is this tub going to be? Is everyone going to dip themselves in it? It seems kind of unsanitary.
Well, my problem is just I'm picturing the tub full of like the heavy white cream, and it's like you get out of that, you've got like an additional 6 pounds of Sun Tan Lotion.
Right.
I mean, very effective. SPF. Infinity.
You're gonna have people drowning in it.
Oh God! Need a lifeguard for the sunscreen.
We might have had her on to because she seemed to be convinced that was the obvious solution.
Yeah,
and I think a spray. And it's interesting. We both kind of didn't change the product, just the way that it's applied.
Yep. I think it works pretty well.
But you know what? My idea stemmed from some of my research in the definition from Wikipedia and the history of sunscreen, because you know I hadn't really. I think the most I've ever read about sunscreen application was reading the back of the bottle I bought here, which is entirely in Spanish.
Ooh.
And so I just found it kind of fun to try to understand it. And I realized I've never really read the instructions on like how much should you apply, how often should you reapply, and such.
Kind of guesswork.
That, you know, the scab machine or the sun wash takes some of the guesswork out of the equation and properly. Yeah. I assume your machine properly applies the right quantity of sunscreen.
Yes.
Yes,
it does.
All right, let's move on. Another game we play every episode. Has someone died using it?
Yeah.
I believe it's my turn.
And the score is you have a point and I have a half point.
We think.
I think so.
The points don't really matter at this point. Though you were supposed to take a shot of hot sauce.
Yeah.
That still hasn't happened.
Right. Maybe here's
Are we going double or nothing? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I think that was the agreement.
Okay. So has someone died using it? Sunscreen. I'll run you down my notes, a couple of hypotheses that I've had on how it may have happened. First, I have to ask you a question. Is sun poisoning an allowed answer?
No, I don't think so, because the Sun Tan Lotion had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Because I'm like the lawyer for the Sun Tan Lotion.
All right. I thought maybe someone would have used the wrong cream, some sort of cream that was dangerous to use.
Right.
Maybe some sort of cleaning agent.
Okay.
I thought maybe someone had used a poisonous cream.
I hate when they sell those poisonous creams.
I thought maybe someone had ingested the cream. Or perhaps someone had slipped on the cream.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Ultimately, what I was going to answer was, yes, I think someone has died using sunscreen. I suspect it was by using an out-of-date, ineffective cream and dying as a result of sun poisoning / dehydration. But you're saying that's not allowed as an answer.
Yeah, I don't think so, because if they had not applied anything, they all still would have died.
All right, then I'm going child ingesting a tube of sunscreen.
The contents of the tube or the tube itself?
I don't even know if it's poisonous.
Okay, well. All right, that's your answer?
Yes.
And I'm happy to say I can award you no points. This might be the first instance where the item we're reviewing actively tries to not kill you.
That's a good point.
Right? Like not that other things are trying to, but this one's designed to prevent, dying. So I'm happy to say I couldn't find an instance of someone dying by suntan lotion. I tried just Googling, like, death by sunscreen. You know what we Google when we do this.
Right.
I tried, man drinks sunscreen and dies. And, of course, all I could find is the results about, like, the drinkable sunscreens and everything. And then I tried killed by sunscreen fire. Which I then found an article by the FDA. Apparently some spray sunscreens are flammable.
I believe it.
And but in the article it said, though no children have been set on fire by flammable sunscreen yet. So it hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
But it sounds like that is a danger.
They sound like they're members of the Spray Sunscreen Skeptics Club that I'm a member of as well.
Yeah, right. They're not about it.
Doesn't work. It's dangerous. Setting our children on fire with it.
So I mean, that's really it. I couldn't find an instance of someone dying. I did find a lot of people who are worried that the sunscreens might be doing more harm than good. A lot of, like, phobia about the chemicals and possibly if the chemicals cause cancer. And I think there is more research that needs to be done there. But in general, they found everything is safe. And what they have found is that wearing sunscreen regularly can lead to 25% decreased rate of skin cancers. So, even though we're not 100% certain maybe about the safety of sunscreen itself, it's definitely better to wear it than to not wear it. Again, more medical advice, but that's what I'm here for.
All right, so the score remains 1 to half a point.
Yeah.
And has someone died using it. And with that will conclude today's episode from Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic on sunscreen. Want to remind you that you can follow us on social media at That Just Might Work on Instagram and on Facebook. On Twitter, it's at TJMW Podcast. And hey, the next time that you're shopping on Amazon, make sure to head to thatjustmightwork.podcast.com prior to and click the link to Amazon from there. It doesn't cost you any more, but we get a little incentive from Amazon for sending the traffic in their direction. It helps to very minimally contribute
offset
to
our costs.
our cost. I think we've made like $3.
That's pretty good.
So we appreciate the help. This podcast costs like $20 a month.
So just keep shopping on Amazon.
Just keep shopping on Amazon, especially for those more expensive items. And that's going to do it for today's episode. Join us next week or whenever we record the next episode.
Hopefully next week.
You never know. We might be talking about your favorite everyday object.
Gracias para escuchar. I hope that was right.